Hey, can you hear me now? We've just been talking to ourselves, of course. You should be able to hear me now. I just want confirmation. Can you hear me before I go on any further? Got hiccups.
Yeah, Eugene.
Yes, thank God for that.
Good evening.
What I was saying, I've got Basil with me from the channel, my brother. We're going to react to Kevin Thelwell's interview. We're going to have a little look. Apologies to everyone who's just been watching, thinking, what the hell's going on? I'm going to click straight off it. But no, let's watch Kevin Thelwell's interview and digest it. You ready, Dave?
Yeah, put it on.
Here we go.
The January transfer window has ended. How would you assess the business that we did in terms of bringing Charlie Alcaraz in and a few younger players out?
Yeah, well, probably first and foremost, I think everybody recognises it's a very difficult window. You need two things to happen. You need somebody who wants to buy, but also you need somebody who wants to sell. And that generally doesn't happen so much now in this particular winter window. So we always knew it was...
Well, we want to buy. We clearly want to buy. So clearly, it's the same in any business, though, isn't it? If I make you an offer you can't refuse, or if the player wants to move, because you
just hit the nail on the head. If I can't refuse it, are Everton in a position to make an offer that nobody could refuse?
Well, we're clearly not making offers that teams can't refuse.
We're scrapping all our offers. Are like, can I just loan it? Can I just have it for 6 months?
Can I just have your best player? Can I just have your
50p?
Can I have your best player on a free transfer, or can I have your best player? We'll give you nothing up front. We'll give you everything in 6 months if he scores 10 goals for us between now and the end of the season. and then going in for a championship player, the best player in the division in the team on deadline day when they've got no chance of replacing them.
It was going to be tough, and we always knew it was going to be difficult to bring in new bodies. Really pleased to get Charlie in. A player that we've watched for some time,
on Saturday night,
obviously Argentinian international. We liked him before when he played at Southampton and followed and tracked him when he went to Flamengo. And yeah, good to get him in the building. I think he'll provide us with a lot of intensity, a lot of energy.
You didn't track him; they were probably just offered him by an agent.
That's the strategy. That's what they did with Undai, didn't they? They watched him for a year,
wait
for him to go off somewhere because he flopped, and then bring him back,
bring him back, so hopefully not flop again.
He's also a very good footballer, so really pleased with that. But probably just as pleasing is Harrison Armstrong out in particular, because he's a young player that's been with the first team a lot this season. But unfortunately, because of our circumstances, he's not managed to get so many minutes, and so he needs to go and play, hopefully get a load of experience at a...
Because of our circumstances, that would imply like we've got this big bolstered team and we don't need players and fresh players in the squad.
It's just a load of waffle, isn't it? Because we haven't got the players, the squad depth. We've got injuries. We've got players who can't play in the 10. We're playing a system now with two dual number 10s, and and Decore, tucked in narrow. You think Harrison Armstrong could play? He'd be saying if the team was doing really well, they'd be going, no, he's not good enough for the level we are. Top 4, top 8, top 10. If we're in the bottom, he's going to go, he needs loan, he needs minutes. We can't risk him.
Well,
where'd you win?
The simple answer there was he's a young kid, he's doing well, but he needs to learn. Why did he have to say the opportunity's not there? He's just made of trash.
Very, very good level. We're really pleased that he's gone to Derby County in the Championship, and hopefully he comes back as with all of that experience, comes back a better player and then fights for a spot in the summer. So yeah, really pleasing. Difficult to stand Mills because you never want to lose good young players, but I think he
can't be that good if we've let him go.
Well, I think he's had injuries, hasn't he?
Good young players.
A few of them have just drifted out. Had a few injuries, just not made it.
Where's he? Is he gone? Oxford United? Are they in the Championship?
Oxford, yeah.
Are they in the Championship?
No idea.
Let's find out now. I thought they were League One.
I think they might be League One. I don't think they're Championship.
No, they're actually
Championship.
Yeah, very bottom of the Championship. I mean, that's a good move for him. But what?
Yeah.
Should we not be having a buyback
or a loan?
Or a loan? No, he's only got 6 months on his deal.
Oh, well then it's good.
And we felt it was probably his right time to almost start his career, at another football club, and we're delighted that he's got an opportunity at a good club, Oxford United. And we'll obviously monitor his progress, and we hope he goes on to do great things there.
Same with Charlie Whittaker as well, in terms of just an opportunity for him to go and start his professional career elsewhere.
Yeah, very much so. Like him and Stan have had a difficult time because they've been stop-start in so many ways because of injuries, but they are almost young senior players now, if that makes sense. So they're ready to go and play senior football. They're capable of playing men's senior football, and
if he's capable of going to men's senior football and playing at the championship level, surely he's a £2-3 million player already. No, we've not got a bean for them.
Have we not got some money for them?
I think it was an undisclosed fee.
Some small fee.
I hope everyone can hear us because we've only got one microphone at the moment. Obviously, we could try and do this a bit differently in future, but it's a bit off the cuff.
Obviously, we'd love all of these players to be able to play for Everton Football Club, but that can't be the case all of the time. And so we're happy that they've got an opportunity to start their career, at a senior level elsewhere.
And just on Charlie, I know the manager values Premier League experience, as you do as well. So that 1 year at Southampton is important to help him hit the ground running, isn't it? That he's played in this league before.
Yeah, I think so. It should mean there's a shorter bandwidth in terms of acclimatisation. He knows what the weather's like here. He knows, how the Premier League works. I think that'll help him. Albeit, I still think he'll need a bit of acclimatisation in terms of his process because he's been playing. He's been playing in a very warm climate, and the football is very different. In Brazil. So, and hopefully, he brings something to the team.
And that was seen by a lot of positive performance from Charlie's first debut on Saturday.
Yeah, really pleased with him and really pleased for him. I think we all could see what he can bring to the table. Very, very good cameo, although it's just a start, still lots of hard work to do. And he's got to try and produce that consistently. But yeah, really good start, really pleased for him.
And when you look at the window as a whole in the past year, despite the enforced limitations due to PSR, which I think is fair to say you've had to deal with from the moment you came into the club, how pleased are you with the 6 new faces that you brought into the club, starting with Iliman Ndiaye and just the fantastic impact that he's had on the team?
Yeah, and you make the point, and it's fair to say, I think that we've had a very difficult period over my 3.
He's been world class, hasn't he, Ndiaye?
He's been very good, Ndiaye. But I've just noticed the way they phrased that question was almost like saying
they're so
just
good.
Disregarded the January window. It was like, so just reflect on the year as a whole then, because you didn't sign anyone really in January.
Well, if I'm being hypercritical, he signed Jesper Lindstrom. There's a video Ozzy Chris does on a post. Yeah. Signed Jesper Lindstrom. He's got no goals and no assists. And he had no goals and no assists for Napoli in a whole season. Was he a good signing? Some say sign him now. I'd take him for 2-3 million quid. I wouldn't take him for 20 million just because he runs. And he's tenacious. He doesn't score goals and make assists. Who else did he sign in the summer? He gave Young another 1-year deal.
He signed Tim, didn't he?
Timur Abunam, he's been injured. Can't really say he's been a good or bad signing.
He'll just say he's a prospect and he's back from injury.
Timur Abunam's barely played, and then there was O'Brien. He's not played at all. He's played 3 games, and he was poor against Bournemouth. Is he going to suck these? Is he going to suck up to these players now and start saying they were world beaters? Half of them haven't had a sniff.
He's obviously going to speak positively about it. He's trying to protect his job.
The comments, Jackie Harrison. He signed Jackie Harrison again.
3 years here.
Actually young again.
Yeah. We've been selling all of our best players window for window for obvious reasons that we all know. Generate circa 225 million in terms of transfer income, and only actually spent over those 6 windows, 145 million on the team. So it's not been what any of us would have wanted.
We're saying we sold all our best players. We only got 220 million, and then we pissed away 145 million of the money that we recovered from our best players on Beto, Lindstrom, Jack Harrison, Ashley Young. Who the shite?
For Everton Football Club, but unfortunately,
it's really nice.
It's something that we've had to do to
really nice
either stay afloat or be on the right side of PSR, however you want to see it. So then, for us to be able to then bring in players of the quality of Iliman Ndiaye, who wasn't having a particularly great time at Marseille, but we all knew and anticipated that if he came back to us, back to England in the Premier League, that he could do it and have a big impact, is something that we're really proud of. We've brought in a lot of very good young players. I hope everybody can see the value in those young players. and they stand us in good stead, not only to help us to win today, but also to help us to win tomorrow.
And then just going back to Charlie Alcaraz, the deal went to the wire on transfer deadline day, but it's fair to say that certainly from our point of view, that was all about ensuring that the club's interests were very much at heart, wasn't it? In terms of, as it always is when you're doing, and you and your team are doing deals and transfers.
In reality, there's no simple deals anymore. You know, it's a complicated business, and there's a lot of clauses in those contracts, and you're working as hard as you possibly can to make sure you get the very best from each clause in that contract. And sometimes that takes a bit of time, especially when you're communicating across the miles. So the main point is that we got the deal done in the end, which is obviously.
I'd be really intrigued to know what sort of deals where we've been embedding into the contract of Alcaraz. He's just saying that the deal took so long because with clauses. Well, they're debating 16 appearances, 15 appearances.
Now I want
2
12
goals, 6 goals.
We spent about 4 weeks discussing whether it should be 6 goals or 7 goals, 3 assists, 14 minutes.
65% pass accuracy.
Well, we think if he plays 4 games in a row and has 19% or more pass accuracy.
Why is he turning around?
No, it's the negotiating team.
Oh.
If he makes 3 or more appearances, of which he comes on for more than 30 seconds in each game, if he gets a minimum of 0 assists and 0 goals, like most do in your team, then you have to sign him on a permanent deal. And that ranges between 18 and 44 million, depending on.
Oh.
It was probably, if he plays a certain amount of games, it was starts, wasn't it? He's afford to, you have to sign him for 16 million quid.
Super positive. And the second point about that is we've got the very best deal for Everton Football Club, which I'm very pleased that we have. So I'm hoping Charlie now comes in
What is that deal?
and proves us all right and does a really good job for us. And hopefully we can take that situation further once the season finishes.
You touched upon it earlier that what a difficult market January is now. The manager said that. And our new owners, the Freaking Group, outlined the reality of PSR, the situation that we're currently in this season. So how important a factor was that in determining the business that we ended up doing?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, again, last 3 years have been tough, haven't they? So we've been focusing very much on spend or more to the point what we can't spend. I think everybody would understand that in January, you're buying a player, it's probably 20 to 25% more expensive, both on salaries and on transfer fees, probably. And so what you don't want to do is, with being a club under our circumstances, is take all of that good work that we've done over the last 3 years and start to flush.
As you said before, the selling club has to replace that player in most cases, so they need 25% more fees.
So surely the player has to push to go. Everton have to tempt them with a big enough offer. But what if it's a player who wants to leave, who the club need to sell, who's not getting a lot of minutes? There must have been play. You honestly telling me there are not players?
That there was players.
They're looking for on FIFA Football Manager. No, what I'm saying is there's clearly players at clubs who are not getting minutes that wanted to go, and we've not taken a chance on any of them. And the argument
they're
was
not getting minutes is the problem, isn't it?
Well, Ndiaye wasn't getting minutes. Alcaraz wasn't getting a lot of minutes, were they? They were struggling.
A decent amount of minutes.
Well, they were struggling in the team, but what I'm thinking is we're not signed. We didn't take a punt on any of them, and you could argue it's because they don't improve the team. I don't think it takes a lot to improve this team.
Most of the players we're signing are players who are struggling a little bit in their clubs. I mean, like Lindstrom had a good season, then went there and just really struggled. So we're like prying on these players who want a second chance.
Some of that down the toilet by making poor decisions.
Down the toilet.
So I think our perspective was always that we need to add some players. We knew that and we know that.
Players, plural.
But only if those players were good enough to play for Everton Football Club.
Most are.
And also as long as they made good financial business sense. If there was opportunity in the marketplace, we should try and do it. But if there wasn't, we should keep our powder dry for what is going to be a very big summer for all of us, to make sure we get it exactly right. And that's where we got to in the end, really.
I understand why, because the new stadium, it could be such a damp squib if we go into there with a crap team, losing every match, making a horror show of it. You're going to, but at the same time, this 6 months now could be the difference between really maximising some of these sponsorship deals, commercial deals and naming rights, impressing players for the summer market by finishing the season strongly. If you do have a good 6 months now, good 3 months, 4 months, whatever it is, finishing the top 10 or 11th or 12th, it looks better than scraping by 17th because we haven't got the bodies. So there's a chicken and egg there. He's obviously taking a risk. I think we've got 150 or 200 million pounds to spend in the summer. And the 13 players out of contract, they're going to be 20 million a pop to replace. Maybe 3 of them get new deals. I think Decore, Garner, and I'd have to have a look through the list.
I have to see what Chris said before.
Yeah, to watch that on Chris's video.
Not very many players moved, truth be known, in January. And the ones of high quality that did move were very expensive.
We went to Villa.
So we didn't really want to be in the space where we bought a player where, we spent a lot of money, but in actual fact, they didn't improve the group so much. And so it's much better than to say, okay, come on, let's not do as much as
what pisses me off. We've got injuries. This is what pissed me off. Beto can't play 90 minutes. We've got no strikers. You can't honestly tell me there isn't. I don't believe that there is no one out there that improves us within the budget. You got all the top 5 European leagues. You got all the other leagues. You've seen players come over from like Brighton do it. They sign players from spurious leagues and they come in. It's the scouting. It's the monitoring of these players. Do we only look in France or at the M6?
They don't use scouting. They use statistics. But yeah, we should be looking further than the end of our nose or players we've gone for in previous years. It's because we don't want to play up front. It's either got to be a loan deal. We've only got limited space.
I'm saying he had some money.
I think we had 15 or 20 million. But what is that going to get you the quality of player that we were after?
Yeah.
A down payment, maybe.
Unless we're going for world class. Are we going for Ndiaye now? And Brandwaite?
I do wonder how many of the Onana type deals from the last 2 or 3 years where we paid down payments, very small amounts, Beto, and we're playing off those every year. How much of that is still hanging over us as well?
I still feel like it's got to be players, but he knows more obviously than us. So maybe he's right.
We thought we would do. Let's keep our powder dry and let's make sure that we're ready for the summer to have a really good window.
And was that backed up by the belief in the quality that is in this squad and the impact that David Moyes has had since returning as manager with 3 straight Premier League victories? And okay, we had the cup loss on Saturday, but a strong second half showing as well from the team.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody saw it saw the season panning out as it did, especially after having a good season last season, albeit with the points. We were in circa 12th place from memory. And I think we anticipated that we could do exactly the same again. In actual fact, looking at the squad and saying, well, actually, we're a touch stronger than what we were last year. However, it hasn't worked out like that. It's took us a little bit of time to get back on track. But I think this team is capable of making steps forwards.
He said that we finished 12th without the points deduction and that the aim would be just above that because we had a stronger squad going into this year than the previous year.
I'd say 12th is about right for where this group is. Because it looks to me so light on the wings and a number 9 who's going to score 15 goals a season. That's the difference. Because we don't concede many goals. If we just had a 15 to 20 goal a season striker and maybe one winger who can stick it on his head and chip in, we could easily get top 10. Because the defence is
Ndiaye's good, right?
Yeah, he's unbelievable. You need more players on that level.
We've got a lot of quality in the group.
What are you saying?
I'm saying there is some quality there.
We've got a lot of players who are capable of playing in different positions and supporting the team on the pitch. Could we improve the group? For sure. Everybody can. Everybody in the league will think exactly the same way. But have we got enough to A, get the job done, and B, climb the table? Yes, I think we have. And so it's much better than to say, okay, let's work with this really good group of players that we got and see if they can achieve something that we want to achieve. Let's work with this really good group of players that we got.
It's just described as a really good group of players. Fucking deluded. Just lost to Bournemouth for the 3rd time in about 3 months. Bournemouth, and they didn't even play their first team. Let's go to the comments. Let's see what people think of that. Really good group of players. There's 137 people watching this. Oh my God. 100. I really respect the interview because I think he comes across really good, and I get what he's saying. He's not being too defensive.
No.
He's kind of explaining it rationally. We get it. we're having a big window. Probably the players were overpriced and not good enough, but we don't. It's not like we're cherry picking players either. Going, we need him, we'll get him. We're just going, who's available? Oh, we've only got Dele Alli available. All right then. Oh, we've only got Cenk Tosun available. All right then. Why don't we go? We want him. We want him. We want him. How much is he? How much is he? How much is he? I'll give you that. Because we can't compete in the market. Yeah, I've answered my own question.
That's why we
to A, get the job done, and B, climb the table. Yes, I think we have. And so it's much better than to say, okay, let's work with this really good group of players that we got and see if they can achieve something that we want to achieve. And well, since David's come in, we picked up 3 straight wins, and the team's performing at a very high level. Lots of goals in the team. Yeah, long may that continue. He's come in and hit the ground running and started doing a great job. Obviously, we know there's a gap in provision. A striker at the moment. We've got 3.
Make no mistakes. Spurs are horrible.
Yeah, really bad.
They're so bad. And Leicester
They've got a lot of injuries, but
2 terrible teams.
Yeah.
Injuries to 3 very good strikers. We did look long and hard in the window to see whether we could recruit a striker, but those players are very expensive.
What
it proves is you lose to Bournemouth, you lose to Aston Villa, you're losing the games to teams above. So it's about right. You know, you beat Leicester, you beat Spurs. We'll beat some of the sides around us in mid-table, which will be enough to get you lower end of the table.
Needs a new contract
/ mid-table.
Getting him on a new contract. Let's just watch this.
We'll see whether we injuries to 3 very good strikers. There's a gap in provision. A striker at the moment. We've got 3 injuries to 3 very good strikers. We did look long and hard in the window to see whether we could recruit a striker, but those players are very expensive. And so with Brozier coming back earlier than we expected, with Chimiti being back earlier than we expected, we made a decision collectively to stick with what we got. You know, better.
Chimiti's never done anything. What makes him think that he's a very good striker? Brozier can't stay fit. Calvert-Lewin has scored 2 goals in about a season. I know he's just trying to inspire confidence, but we're not going
to buy better than those players.
We just need to say they're very good strikers.
You're not in a January window. You're not going to get better than Brozier if he was fit. It's been quite unlucky.
Obviously, did great last week, scoring a couple of goals. Let's see if he can score a couple more, and in between times, we hopefully get those 2 strikers back to us, and they can prove that they're very capable and also help us to win some games.
With the work that you and your team have done over the past 3 years, in, as you say, what has been really difficult circumstances with PSR, what position are we in now, thanks to that work, for the rest of the season and crucially going into, as you say, what is a really important summer?
Yeah, well, the way in which I've described it previously is that we are coming out of a tunnel. We can see the light, but in our reality, we're not quite there yet. We're not quite out of that tunnel. I feel like we're in fairly good shape. And that gives us a real strong opportunity to attack the market.
On Saturday, we didn't even come out the tunnel, did we, in that first half?
And start to develop a team that's capable of getting back to winning trophies, playing in Europe, and be fitting of that world-class stadium that we're going to be moving into.
Everton branding on the side of the stadium.
I don't know why there's no branding blue. I suppose it's in the plan, surely, but there isn't anything. That's a separate discussion.
I don't understand why there's no branding anywhere.
What I was really keen to make sure that we did or didn't do in this window is not put all of that work in jeopardy by us doing something daft in the market that meant we spent more than what we should, and then we had less to spend in the summer. So again, I'm sort of back to a spot where we say, look, it's a difficult market, but don't do daft things in that market that have an impact on the great.
You've been doing daft things in the market for years.
Everything's reactive. That's the trouble. It's been for years. I can kind of see what he's saying. It makes sense, especially coming off the back of the 3 wins. If we hadn't have got those wins, I don't know what this would have been an absolute disaster.
And by daft, I mean he's obviously very rational, very down to earth guy. Daft for me is obviously as a fan, as emotional. He's a Liverpool fan, by the way. But it's talking about. Daft for me was giving Ashley Younger 1 year, even though he's been one of our better players. Daft for me wasn't selling Nathan Patterson when we could. Daft for me is signing Jack Harrison after a poor season.
I think it just underlines.
Or am I being harsh?
I think I think you are, because I think it just underlines how difficult it is at the moment.
Would you say desperate?
They need squad depth. So having those players, I've got no problem with having those players as squad depth. The problem is they are playing
because we're desperate.
The 11.
Because we're desperate.
Become the 11.
Because we're desperate. Not because we need them.
We need the squad depth, but they've ended up being called in as the starting 11.
Yeah, Carl, Byron.
5 loan signing.
Mope. He's spot on. We signed Neil Mope. He signed Mope, this guy.
The work that we've done, or the work that we want to do going forwards.
Yeah, I mean, that goes on to the final question, really. All thanks to that work and the planning that's been done, do you feel we'll have a lot more scope to shape and mould the squad in line with what Evertonians want, what our owners want, what David Moyes wants, and what you want as director of football, as you say, going forward and being more competitive?
I would start by saying it's not a badge of honour to say we are being outspent by everybody in the league, but it's a necessity, and it has been a necessity for the last 3 years. I know how we've survived.
Fair enough.
But when I look back, I wonder how we've survived. We're only spending 145 million, and as well as giving away our best players year on year.
Away.
Now, having said all that, that gets us to a point in time now.
I bloody hope he's not been giving them away.
You need to stop giving them away.
Richarlison, he sold. Onana, he sold. I can't think of who else.
All of them on the cheap. Gordon.
Oh, Gordon as well. He's class. Richarlison, Gordon, and Onana. Ironically, we need a winger. We need a midfielder. And we need a striker. All 3 of them would walk in our team. Gordon would be our best player. Sorry to say.
That would change the team. Those 3 players would change the team.
Anthony Gordon's unreal. I get his point. He's down to earth, but he's not going to be here. His contract expires. So is he looking for players now that he's never going to sign? And then another director of football comes in.
I don't know if that would be the best idea, would it, if they're planning ahead? This contract business should be sorted. Why is everything so reactive? I mean, the bloody transport for the new stadium, like all of a sudden discussing it 5-6 months before this. They must have this sorted out. Surely they know who's going to be director of football if it's not him. If with that many players running out of contract, I think Moyes will obviously have a big say in a lot of it, and he's only just got through the door, so it's giving players a chance to prove themselves over the next month or 2. But I think discussions on contracts has to start soon, because players will be signing agreements with all sorts of other clubs in the next few months if we want to keep them.
I'm just making notes. The director of football situation to me sounds like a complete mess. Is Kevin Thelwell picking players and preparing for this summer's transfer window?
Always Moyes picking players.
Well, that's a different argument, but even though Thelwell might not even be here to conduct the deals, and then you could have another director of football come in who might want completely different players. So is this guy, just give him another year's contract then? Just give him a year.
It's not just him
because what's he
making the decisions.
Well, who is?
A team of them.
No. Where I think once we get through the summer, we've got a real opportunity to look up again. And what we all want to be doing is we want to be the fans to be excited about.
He said once we get through the summer, we'll be looking up again. As if we have to get through the summer before we can.
We've got to get the players in. We've got to get the players in.
That gave me the wrong impression. Surely we have to get to the summer to then strengthen the squad. That's what I want to hear him say.
Quality of player that we're bringing in. We want them to be excited by the number of players that we're bringing in. And we also want those players to make a significant difference to how the team looks out on the pitch. And of course, that translates to league position. We start to look up the table rather than look down the table. It's taken us 3 hard years to get to that point. But the summer will be a start.
Easily spending nothing so we can make a huge loss in the summer. Plus extra revenue.
I'm worried about all the players out of contract. We'll have to replace them, never mind.
But most of them you wouldn't sign anyway, as Aussie Chris has been through.
It's squad depth, though. Some of it you need for.
Should we react to Aussie Chris's video?
Also, you have to have a bit of continuity in the squad. You can't just let 10 players walk out.
I think we'll sign 7 or 8 players.
can't have a whole different 7 characters walk through the door.
I think there'll be £30 million signings, and I think there'll be 5 of them, at least. Am I being deluded? But I think Decore and Garner will get new deals.
I think some of those experienced players will stay.
Part of that, I don't think it'll be a revolution. It'll be an evolution, and so it should be. It should be.
I don't think Coleman and Young will get deals.
No.
I think Moyes always talked about when he signed the first time and he got rid of David Ginola and all them.
But I think there's actually more chance of Ashley Young getting the deal. Because at least he's generally match fit. He's played that many games at his age. Coleman's always injured. He comes back in, he plays 10 minutes.
He's got to retire
for 6 months.
Can't stay fit.
Evolution, and so it should be. It should be
revolution.
Conservatively strategic is probably a description of it.
You just
but it should be the start of something.
Coming up.
And then, of course, once we're into the new stadium and the financial regulations change, then that stadium gives us a real opportunity to sort of build on that solid foundation that we put in place so far. So I appreciate Evertonians won't be that excited about what's happened so far in January, but hopefully they can see it's like that for good reason, and hopefully the excitement can come when we get through this financial period and then get into the new stadium.
Financial period? Are we talking about April to April, or are we talking about summer to summer?
No, I think it ends on the 30th of June.
Oh right, okay, so it is the next window.
I think after the 30th of June, we'll sign players.
What's the difference this summer that there wasn't last summer?
It was still within a period where we made tons of losses. And this summer we got tons of sponsorship deals.
Stupid rule, the 3-year rule. It should be year on year, surely.
And ticket revenues and everything's going to increase. Everything's massively going to go up this summer. We're going to have money to spend on top of the fact that those losses are not in the accounting block of periods for PSR.
And we might end up selling a good player.
Just in the comments, just thank you all for watching. I know it's really late. If you're watching back and you've enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe. We've got 160 odd new subscribers in the last week or so. I think mostly off the videos that I've been doing, the sort of the niche videos to do with the stadium and stuff. So I'm hoping this one also goes down well. Just something a little bit different. You see a lot of YouTubers doing reaction videos, but we're trying to give you a little bit of our insight as well and make it interesting. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments what you thought. Just a few people in the comments talking about Decore getting an extension. He did an interview today. It was quite interesting, talking about different managers, and he likes Moyes. He liked Dyche. He hated Lampard. He had an argument with him. He said he told him some home truths and got put with the under to train alone. And he liked Carlo Ancelotti. He said that he was basically covering James
with his work rate,
but he had freedom, and yeah, it's quite interesting. Anyway, it's getting late. You've got work. Thanks for watching, guys. David, you got anything else you want to say?
No, it's just a critical point, isn't it, where we got these signings, and I just have my own reservations about the fact we might sell a big player as well in the middle of this.
Bradford.
So we'll end up with like 80 million all of a sudden, plus that money, with basically no squad left and all these players.
What if it's just Branthwaite going and it's all been a big blag? That's the Branthwaite money.
I think they're planning to keep everybody that they want to keep, the good players. But the reality is that a big offer comes in, it changes your entire transfer window in an instant.
Well, I know who will be in high demand in the summer. Jared Branthwaite and Iliman Ndiaye. I reckon Chelsea, Arsenal, United, or Man City will go after him. He could play at that level.
He's got a contract though.
5 years. Probably got a release clause. I reckon City could ask for him. He could play there. Right, guys. See you later.